Yeah, because it's still one of those ones that there's a lot to it. Yeah. So last one for today is about the blockchain trilemma, which again was mentioned more or less before. So how does Nervos address the blockchain trilemma, which is security, decentralization, and stability? And what trade-offs are involved, if any?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are trade-offs. There are always trade-offs.
Yeah, that's a trilemma, right?
That's why it's got Emma on the end, you know. I mean, flexibility is one of the biggest concerns for CKB, really. Nervos addresses the trilemma basically through layered architecture. So, you know, it's designed not to try and solve anything on one layer, as I mentioned earlier. Instead, it makes clear trade-offs. It assigns different tasks to different layers. Some people would classify it as modular. That was a buzzword that was floating around last year by a few projects. We had other layers as well, but we decided that we didn't like bridges, so we got rid of them, like Godwoken and Axon. We basically shut them down now because we've realised that bridgeless was the way forward. So the layer one, the CKB chain, basically prioritizes the security and the decentralization. And the security is obviously proof of work is far superior to proof of stake, you know, according to our team and according to our philosophy. The trade-off is that layer one kind of has limited scalability. Quell surprise. You know, it's not designed for high TPS, you know, transaction throughput. And it's, you know, some people will be like, oh, well, you know, Solana has 8 billion transactions, you know, in 1 minute and all this. And, you know, our blockchain doesn't really, you know, is not structured like that. You know, the layer two is where it delegates the task for scalability for another layer. Yeah. With technologies like RGB++ that we mentioned earlier, Lightning Network, which is off-chain scaling, Fiber Network, which is being upgraded as we speak, you know, and they're working on it further and further. Then we have another one called Perun, something you could probably talk about like in another dimension, in another timeline. You know, these are high speed, low cost transactions. And, you know, while they're anchored by the final security layer one, you know. So for us, we believe that, you know, scalability is through off-chain. This layered strategy basically allows CKB to optimize for different goals at different levels. So designating different jobs to different people, basically, to try to get one job done. But I suppose it's like basically carrying a bucket of cement. Instead of you walking for a mile to carry that bucket of cement, you give that bucket of cement to 2 people and one person passes it to the next person. Well, basically, that's kind of what CKB is trying to do with scalability. And it achieves a better overall balance of the 3 elements instead of making painful compromises on one chain. You know, you can spread out the compromises and minimize them more. So, you know, not all put your eggs in one basket, as they say, Ripto, you know?
Yeah.
That older adage.
Brilliant.